If you struggle with surrendering and letting go, and you know it's something that if you could get better at it, that it would help your manifestation abilities and your ability to co-create more in your life, then this episode is for you. We are going to dive into what it means to surrender, why it's challenging to surrender, and why it's such a key part of the manifestation process. So here we go. Hi, friends. It's Heidi Stevens here. Welcome to Drop Into the Vortex, my newly rebranded podcast, where we are going to be going deep into conversations around up-leveling your frequency, reaching your next level, feeling alive in your day-to-day while you manifest that life that you know is possible. I believe that we are all spiritual beings having a human experience here. And if you are wanting to raise your consciousness, if you are wanting to feel more freedom and joy and aliveness in your human experience, then you've come to the right place. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I share firsthand my inner workings of how I'm making all of this happen in my life and how you can use tangible tips and tricks to use it in yours too. Can't wait to dive deep with you. Let's go. Historically, the word surrender tends to have connotations of weakness or losing. As I researched the definition of the name surrender, of the word surrender, here are a couple of the definitions, and it really brought home to me this idea that we do think of it as weak. We do think it's like a giving up, and that's because that's the definition. So the definition is to give up completely or agree to forgo, especially in favor of another. Right? Here are a couple other definitions: to yield power, control, or possession of another upon demand. To give control of something to somebody else. And you think about it, way back in the day, war, power battles, surrendering was you giving up, was you losing the battle, was you losing the war. Well, the good news is that there is a new definition or a new perspective on this definition of surrendering in our modern day of mysticism and spirituality, and really learning that we have the ability to let go and turn over to a power greater than ourselves, and that we don't actually have to control everything. And that not only that trying to control everything is actually hindering our ability to live a more authentic, fruitful, expanded life where we are in flow with spirit, where we are in flow with the universe. So let's get into that, okay? Because today, the thought of surrendering really is about this deep connection with turning your power over to something or somebody else greater than you. And I am knee deep in this right now, my friends. I am knee deep in this surrender process, and I'm going to share with you what that looks like and you know how it works. But my real first kind of relationship with surrendering, when I first learned about the power of it and really what it is, was when I was in a 12-step program. And some of you know, I went through a 12-step program about 15 years ago for eating disorders. I was bulimic. I had a very, very toxic, wonky relationship with my body and food and how much I exercised or didn't exercise. And I felt completely out of control. I did not know where to turn. And when someone is in an addictive behavior, it doesn't matter if it's alcoholism, if it's shopping. I have friends and, you know, people around me that know that they're addicted to work. If it's addiction to coffee, it doesn't actually matter what the addiction is. It is a coping mechanism and it is a spiritual malady. And there is a need to have a willingness to give up that coping mechanism. Now, I'm not preaching here behind this microphone or behind this video saying that I do everything, like that I don't have coping mechanisms. I do. I no longer am addicted to them, right? And so you know when the coping mechanism has gone kind of has become a slippery slope and it has gone way too far to one side. So this is really, when I went and got support for a 12-step program for bulimia, I felt out of control. I didn't know where else to turn. I was at my quote unquote rock bottom. And so what I love about the 12-step program is they give you very, very, very clear steps. And the first 3 steps of a 12-step program is really all about surrendering your will to thy will. And so I just want to go over those because, again, it doesn't matter if you actually relate to any of, an addiction or not. I think that there's information and there's knowledge and there's real wisdom in these steps in terms of beginning to develop spirituality, a connection, and faith in a power greater than yourself. So the first step in the 12-step program is willingness to admit that you are powerless over said addiction, right? That our lives have become unmanageable. And for any of you that feel like you're just absolutely exhausted from trying to control the outcome, if the need to figure everything out and carry the weight of your shoulders, the weight of the world, and I know so many of you are the moms and the matriarchs and the life givers of your family, there can be this sense of just, I am so ready to be done. I'm so exhausted from this hamster wheel, from the consistency of just, holding it all together, trying to control, trying to figure everything out. And it's just too much. It's too much to try and carry the weight of the world, your family, your job, your finances, your business, your creative endeavors, all on your shoulders. And so, the second step is coming to believe that a power greater than yourself could restore you to sanity. Believing that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And that really is the definition of having faith, of having a belief in something greater than yourself. And I know so many of you listening to this have that connection or have this awareness of, yes, there is a power that greater than myself. And I remember when I first went into this 12-step program, and I grew up Lutheran. I grew up in a Christian church. I was baptized. I have always been kind of a seeker, if you will, asking deep questions of, is there more and what does more look like? And really on this journey, right? And for those of you that this doesn't have anything to do with religion. And I actually never found quote unquote God in my religion. I know some people do. I remember being in the 12-step program and realizing I actually have no concept and no personal relationship with this thing called God. I have no idea what that means. I think of it as some, face, old kind of the picture that you see of Jesus. And that was my only relationship with what God could be. And I remember living in Santa Monica at the time and going down to the beach and putting my feet in the sand. And I'd look out in the ocean and this, one particular kind of being in Santa Monica, you look out and you really can't see anything. It just goes on and on and on, this like vast ocean. And I would watch the waves crash and I would look up in the sky and I would look out in the ocean and I would just think to myself, this is it. Like, if this is not a power greater than myself, then I don't know what is. And I remember just having this experience of, this is my God. This is me communing with something more powerful than myself. I don't know if you want to call it God or spirit or source or whatever it is. And in my very strong opinion today, all of those mean the same thing, as does love, because love is the source of all of it. But I would sit there and I would feel my feet in the sand and I would close my eyes and I would just say, like, I don't know what to do next. I need your help. And that is surrendering. That is letting something greater than yourself, a power that you can't see, but you feel and you know in some part of your being that there is truth there, that there's energy there, there's a connection, that there is a source. And when we begin believing that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity, we stop needing to fill the insanity, the chaos, with the things, the addictions, needing to look perfect, being a certain weight, certain foods, certain drinks, certain shopping behaviors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so then the third step, and we're going to move on from this 12-step program dissertation, but the third step is making a decision to turn our will over to the care of this energy of God. And I hesitate using the word God because I know it can be really triggering to a lot of people. And so fill it in for what works for you. Making a decision to turn your will over to the power of the universe. And there lies this beautiful relationship with the divine and your willingness to give up power and give up control and give up needing to figure out every single piece of the puzzle and letting God do its part, letting spirit do its part. And it really is a foreign thing for most of us because our entire world, Western society, is taught that in order to get things done and make things happen, that we need to take control. Like we need to take the reins. We need to make it happen. And it really like if we're not doing it, who is, right? I'm going to push my way to the front. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this promotion. And I'm going to force this strategy and manipulate this thing in order to scale my business. And oh my gosh, who wants to live like that? I know you don't. I know you don't because you are listening and you are here and you're looking and so deeply desiring for an easier, softer way. And I am so happy to share with you that there is a easier, softer way to manifest and create this life that you know is possible. Because when we're trying to control and force, it's just like, it's not a matter of if, it's just when you're going to hit your own rock bottom of exhaustion and overwhelm and just feeling like defeat. And, and again, it's kind of ironic that like that idea of defeat, because historically, like that is surrendering. And so oftentimes when I'm hitting my next level of surrender, it does feel like defeat. It does feel like I'm just knocked on my back, on my buns and just going, I don't know what else to do, source. Like I have no idea what else to do. And what that looks like for me and how I can kind of bridge this gap with the surrendering and why this really is a superpower of manifestation, my friends, is because when you really wholeheartedly get this, like I am willing to surrender my will for thy will. Different way of saying this or something better for the highest good of all concerned. This or something better for the highest good of all concerned. What this does is you are just saying, I don't have to control everything. I'm willing to let go. I no longer need to force and manipulate it. And so after you get clear in the manifestation process of what is it that you want, the first step is always, what is it that you want? Letting yourself have permission to desire, to dream. And that's a whole nother episode. It's a whole nother video of what that actually looks like, and giving yourself permission and being willing to let yourself go there. But after you do that, and after you really move into what's the feeling I'm going after, you then get to let it go. And so I'm going to give you some really tangible tips, some very tangible visuals that I think are going to support you in learning how to surrender. But first, I just want to share my own kind of why this topic is up for me right now and how it's playing out in my life, and why I'm kind of getting a dose of humble medicine of surrendering. And, most of you know, I'm on this journey of manifesting a new home right now. We sold our house in Los Angeles. We're down here in San Diego. Yes, we are in the process of building a house. Those of you that see me on Instagram know that we are, in construction on a house down here. But we bought that house as a vacation house. We own that house with my parents. It's going to be a really, really cute house, but it's too small. It's we own it with my parents. It's not going to be the house that we're going to live in full time. So it's great for a temporary situation, but as I don't want a temporary situation. I'm not good with just being good enough. I want our house. I want to feel grounded. I want to feel expanded. I want to feel inspired. I want to really kind of, get my just roots down. I want to have a home office. The desire is very crystal clear about what it is that I want and why it is that I want it and the feeling that I'm going after. And so for those of you that follow me on social media and on Instagram, and those of you that don't, please come over. You can find me at Heidi Stevens and follow me on Insta Story. I'm constantly sharing back end and personal experiences and personal life, and very active on there, and love connecting with you guys on Instagram. You're seeing me in very real time, going and looking at these houses, feeling inspired, feeling my no, feeling my yes. And I'm not going to lie, a couple of days ago, I was feeling really, really, really frustrated with not having the house come in. And it's not like, oh, you just need to go and look at more houses. The way the real estate market is today is there is a very, very limited supply. And I know every single house in our price range in the areas that we want to buy. So it's not like, oh, just go and look at more on the market. It's legitimately like, no, I am sending vibes to people that live in these houses, energetically, and beaming them, and for the highest good of all concerned, letting them know, if you're in this type of house with this many bedrooms in this location, with this type of aesthetic, there is an incredible family, us, that are desiring to love on your home, to be the next owners of your home. And so this is about, really kind of co-creating with another couple, other families that are ready to move on, that are thinking about buying. And then I'm manifesting, I'm sending the energy of they'll call their real estate agent, and that real estate agent will let us know. And it's this whole thing that I'm really energetically masterminding, if you will. Again, all for the highest good of all concerned. But the other day, as there was just feeling like we're in this temporary house, this is a temporary office that I'm recording this on. It's totally fine for right now, but it's a furnished rental. We can only be here for 3 more weeks. I'm just feeling the clock ticking. I'm feeling the constraint of we're going to have to move again. We're going to have to move again. We're going to have to move again. And I'm feeling my impatience. And impatience is a lack of faith. Impatience happens when we have fallen from trust and when we are choosing to believe in our timing over God's timing. And so I very much got into my humanness the last couple of days. I was exhausted from moving into this house. It took everything out of me. And I was just sitting there going, oh my God, we have to move out in 4 weeks. And we don't even know for sure where we're going to move in 4 weeks. And I'm just so done. I am so done. I am so tired. I'm so exhausted. And yes, I may have been a little bit dramatic about it, but when you're in it, you're in it. And I fully believe to just feel it and let yourself indulge for a moment so that you can then move out of it. And I sat on my bed, kind of curled up after moving my family in here and, getting the kids sorted. And it was Monday morning, and gratefully our nanny came and Harrison went to school, and I just had a little bit of space. I didn't have a full work day, and I just cried. I just was like, Spirit, I am so done. I'm so done with trying to figure out how this is going to work. I know that we're meant to be in San Diego. I know that we're meant to live here. So many things about this feel right, but I don't know exactly, we're looking in a couple different locations. I don't know exactly the right location. And I just need you to put the next house in front of us. And it was a very heartfelt prayer and a very clear request. And so in my own way, on that Monday morning, I hit my own rock bottom. And I'm very aware that no, I wasn't like on the side of the street in a gutter. Like, there are so many blessings in my life. And again, there is a heightened kind of drama here. But in that moment, around that topic, around me desiring to manifest this in my life, it was a rock bottom. And so for me, just to give myself permission to feel that frustration and to feel that yearning and the desire for this home to come in, and for me to feel frustrated and angry and confused as to why isn't it happening yet, and why did we miss out on that one house that I loved a month ago, and why wasn't Kenny on board with that one, and da 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 da. Like, I could tell you all the stories as to why it hasn't happened yet, but I know enough to know that it hasn't happened for a specific reason. This or something better for the highest good of all concerned. And so in that, after I let myself just feel the feelings of the frustration, it then cleared space. I was able to move energy. I was able to open up and drop into the vortex, drop into the portal of belief and of faith and of going, I've got nothing here. Like, I've got nothing. Like, I don't know what else to do. As far as I'm aware, I've taken the action steps. I've called these agents. I've gone and looked at everything that's on the market. I've talked to our mortgage broker. We know what we can afford. I've set foot in homes up to this point that I feel like potentially could be a match. So there's all these action steps that I'm taking. And so it's like, while I'm doing that, there's an element of just deep, deep, deep surrender, letting go, turning my power over to something greater than myself. So when you want something to happen and there's part of you, it's like you want to clench down, and this could be having something or somebody change something. I see a lot of women needing to surrender what's happening in their relationships. Maybe your partner, has an addiction, or maybe your partner doesn't have the same mindset with you around money, or maybe your partner, you're just you're just kind of on edge and you're wanting them to change something. Your job is to surrender. You do not have power or dominion over what they do. All you can do is anchor in and lock into your choices, what you have control over, and you have the power. You have the power to control. You have the power to surrender. You have the power to surrender. I see other women go into this with their business. I've had lots of bouts of this, wanting to control, wanting to make things happen, wanting clients to come in faster, instead of just showing up, doing every action step that I know how, and trusting that as I do that, and as I get guidance, and as I put one foot in front of the other, it is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And when you are manifesting, the surrendering is such a superpower because your job in manifesting is to not know the exact date on the calendar, is to not know every single step. Can you imagine how boring life would be if you knew every single step and knew every single moment when it was going to happen and how it was going to happen? No, you don't want that. You want to be surprised. You want the universe to delight you. You want to feel like, wow, I can't wait to see what happens when I get up in the morning. So here are some very tangible takeaways that you guys can start implementing to surrender with more ease. Really, my first tip is to picture whatever or whoever that you are desiring to surrender, partner, kids' behavior. For me right now, it's this future house. Just put it in a bubble. Put it in a bubble, almost like a balloon, right? You can just surround that balloon with white light. It's none of your business when this is going to happen or how this is going to happen. And like you just hold a balloon string, you're just going to let that go. You're just going to let that balloon string go. And you're going to let that balloon fly high, high, high up into the ethers, knowing that spirit has your back. The universe is looking out for you. When I was going through some challenging things with my sister, she was going through a challenging time in her life. And I so badly wanted to change it. I wanted to control it. I wanted to get her out of her situation. I literally would have to surrender and picture her in this white bubble and let it go over and over and over and over again every single day. Like it was like, there were some days where it was like every couple of minutes, I would be surrendering. I'd be surrendering. Okay. And that's a real like tangible visual that you can play with. And if you find yourself wanting to control something at night, right? I know a lot of us will, if you wake up at 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning and maybe the anxiety kicks in and your mind starts going, whether it's around bills or finances or whatever it may be, just put that thing in a bubble and just let it go. Let spirit take you. Let spirit take it. The other thing you can do is pray. And even if you don't know what you're praying to or who you're praying for or what that relationship is, you can get on your knees or you can just sit in a meditative pose and you can just say, Spirit, God, source, universe, energy, love. I'm exhausted. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I need your help. Please take the need to control this and force this off of my shoulders and off of my plate. And in perfect divine timing, please show me in a way that I can clearly understand the next steps to take around this thing, around this subject, around this person, around my business. And so it is. You say that prayer enough times, you're surrendering, you're letting go. The third tip in surrendering, I love the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Fourth tip, breath work. Those of you that have done it with me, those of you that have done it in any way, shape, or form, breath work is such a beautiful way to get your mind, your focus, your attention out of your head and really just drop into your heart, to drop into that expanded version of yourself. And the fifth tip is to drop into the vortex, which is virtually what I'm telling you to do through breath work. But if you can do it a different way, if you want to move, if you want to dance, if you want to just sit in meditation, dropping into the vortex is opening your heart, is letting your mind go, is raising your frequency into the vortex, into the fifth dimension. The pathway there is through the loving, is through the heart, is through self-love and self-care. And not self-care like going to get a massage and getting your nails done. No, through deep empathy and compassion and love for yourself that will propel you to the vortex, where the law of oneness and the law of attraction all exist, and where time and space are no longer there. And from that place in the vortex, you are surrendered. There is no trying to surrender in the vortex. You just are. You are fully surrendered. And you know in every ounce of your being that spirit has your back, and that thy will, not my will, shall be done. So I could tell you so many stories about times that I've surrendered. I'm telling you this little story right now in my life that I'm surrendering constantly, this home. But there were days and times where I was just on my knees going, Spirit, bring me my partner. I'm so done trying to figure out when and how my partner is going to come in. I so deeply desired partnership in my husband. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. And there have been times where I've surrendered financially, like I don't know the next step to take. My bills are higher than what we have in our bank account. And there have been times where I've surrendered with food. I do not have control over this. I feel out of control. So this is a practice that you can take into any part of your life. Surrendering is such a manifesting superpower. And when you get good at it, and when you practice it, and when you exercise that muscle of surrendering, you will create space, you will let go, and you will give permission to the universe for it to go and do its part, for it to go and get the wheels turning and the train going and the energy rolling, and you are tapping into that energetic field beyond your body, beyond physical world reality, where spirit can do its thing, where it can bring opportunities and new awarenesses and new things and new resources in all forms to you in a way that is so much more joyful and easy and graceful than trying to wear the weight of doing it all yourself. I cannot wait to hear your guys' feedback on this, to hear how you're surrendering in your own life. Please shoot me a direct message on Instagram, on Facebook. You can always email us at hello@heidistevens.co. And I can't wait to be in touch with you very soon. Sending you my love. All right, my friends. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this episode and got some juicy, tangible tidbits that you can start implementing into your own life to stay inspired and to go to your next level. The greatest gift and compliment you can give me is to share and continue helping me spread this work into the world. You know, I know this is important and it is valuable, and we need to get it into the hands of others. If you like this episode, please do a screenshot, share it on your own social media, tag me at Heidi Stevens. I will be happy to reshare it and to give you the love back. You can also go and subscribe and write a review of this podcast. Thank you for doing it. I love you, and I can't wait to connect with you soon. Bye for now.